Meeting, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please silence your cellular devices, your pagers, your Blackberries, whatever rings. Please silence them. I have to admit, I miss my Captain Kirk flip phone. People are trying to call and text me as we speak. Testing, testing. Yeah. Okay. Good to go. Live? We're live. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tim Nesmith. I'm the Ship Superintendent, Education Outreach Coordinator for the USS KIDD Veterans Museum, and your Master of Ceremonies today, for better or worse. At this time, I would like to invite our Commissioner, Mr. Bob Hawthorne, to come lead us in our invocation.
God, Father of all mankind, beseech you for your blessings today. Help us to do your will. Please bless each person here. Bless your special blessings on our nation, our veterans, and those who are in active service today. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Bob. If everybody will rise for a moment, please, and let's have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. That's part of the calisthenics program here at the USS KIDD. I want to welcome you today to the 80th anniversary of the Kamikaze attack suffered by the USS KIDD off Okinawa on this date in 1945. Molly and I, where's Molly? Molly's back in the back, our social media coordinator, and I were down at the ship this morning in the shipyard at Thomas C. Marine Constructors. I always have to remember that. I always want to say Thomas C. Shipyard, but we're at their shipyard on board ship, and we did a very small condensed form of this ceremony on board ship at about 10:30 this morning and live streamed it to folks out all around the world. We wanted to do it on the ship because since 1983, it's always been on the ship unless bad weather was affecting it. And from 1946, and then again from 51 to 64, it was always on the ship. This ceremony has gone on straight through with no breaks from 1946 to today. And it was very important to the crew, important enough that even after the ship decommissioned after World War II and was sitting idle for 5 years, and then again decommissioned in 64 and sitting idle until she arrived here in Baton Rouge in 83, the World War II crew still met, members of them, not all of them, but they still met at a small church in Massachusetts, either Somerset or Springfield, and I'm foggy on which one, but it did start with an S. And they met in that church to remember their fallen shipmates. It was that important to them that these 38 men not be forgotten. And so for us, it was important. When Greyhound filmed, part of the negotiation, part of the contract when they were on the ship was on April 11th, you have to shut down production for 1 hour, and we have to be able to come on board and we have to be able to hold this ceremony. And God bless them, the crew, the cameramen, the sound people, the cast who had to stay off camera. We were live streaming it, had to stay off camera so they didn't give any spoilers for the movie. And even Tom Hanks himself participated in that ceremony. He actually said, I don't care about spoilers. I want to lay a flower. I want to lay a rose for one of the crew members. And he did for, if our friend Sir Booms a lot is on watching right now, Bernard Kostelnik, one of our crew members, Mr. Hanks laid a flower for Bernard. So When COVID came along, it was just 3 of us on the ship, one handling the camera, one handling the speaking, and putting the roses over, but we still did the ceremony, and that is our goal, that as long as this museum exists, as long as the ship exists, these young men will be remembered. So that is why we are here today. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a rundown on what happened this day, give you a feel for what it was like for these young men. At 11:55 p.m. on the night of December 10th, 1945, 38 families slept peacefully here at home in the United States. At that moment, on the opposite side of the world, at approximately 1:55 p.m. on the afternoon of April 11th, on that side of the international date line, just 90 miles east of Okinawa, approximately 400 miles south of Japan, 4 Fletcher-class destroyers came under attack for the 4th time that day by aircraft of the Japanese Imperial Navy, and among those vessels was the USS Kidd. Now, as this attack started, a Japanese aircraft was shot down as it attacked the ships of Des 96 from off of our port bow. Now, if you want to relate yourselves here in Baton Rouge to where that is, if the ship, as she normally sits, is facing upriver, off of her port bow is coming from Miss Angelique Bergeron's museum, the West Baton Rouge Museum. That plane is coming across the front of the formation, angling toward the river center. And as it comes across, it's aiming for the USS Bullard, located on the right of a four-corner square formation. And that would be about where the number 2 riverfront, river I can't read my own handwriting. Rivermark Center is in downtown Baton Rouge, from that distance from where the Kid normally sits. It's coming in, and the time is 14:07, 2:08 PM off Okinawa. A single engine enemy fighter plane attacks from port bow, and Chauncey, on the left side of that formation, in front of the box, located 1,500 yards directly in front of the Kid, takes that plane under fire and shoots it down before it could get lowered. Meantime, 2 aircraft are spotted dogfighting outboard of Kidd to the opposite side of USS Black. So if Kidd is over here, Black is over here, right about where the WAFB television tower is located. And outboard of them, 2 planes are fighting. And at that time, 23-year-old Lieutenant Junior Grade Shigehisa Yaguchi, I mangled that name, let me try it again. Yaguchi. Did I get it on? Yaguchi, of the Japanese Imperial Navy, commander of the 5th Kenmu Squadron out of Kanoya Naval Air Base on the southernmost Japanese main island of Kyushu, radios back to base that he's going to dive on an enemy warship, specifically a non-aircraft carrier vessel. 60 seconds have passed. It's now 14:09. The dogfight is now directly above the Black. On board the Black, Chief Gunner's Mate George Moorer, in charge of the 3 20-millimeter anti-aircraft guns on the rear of the ship, sees an aircraft dive on his ship and orders to commence fire. They splash one of the planes about 50 feet off of the ship. But the second aircraft, following the diversion of the first, attacks Black, but at the last second, leapfrogs over the destroyer and flies toward the Kid. Top speed of this aircraft, it's a Mitsubishi A6M0, was 332 miles per hour. As it crests the Black and heads toward the Kid, Yaguchi places himself in a crossfire, preventing both ships' main batteries from firing for fear of hitting each other. We did the math a few years ago, and I say we, the museum did the math a few years ago. I was still in middle school at this point, and I hate math. But at that speed and that distance, Kid had 10 seconds to react. 10 seconds. The 20 millimeter and 40 millimeter batteries open fire. They score hits. They set his wings ablaze. Moorer's guns aboard the Black turn and follow him, and they continue to fire as the plane recedes from the Black. Shipmates aboard Kidd later report Yaguchi using the glowing tracer rounds. Every 3 or 4 rounds of a 20 millimeter gun are coated with phosphorus. They glow. So when you see the old war footage, you see these streaks of light going out. That's tracers. They report seeing Yakushi using the glowing tracer rounds from the 20 millimeters to corkscrew around the incoming fire, therefore avoiding most of the fire. But they're still clipping his wings a little bit. Dr. Brooks Garrett, where's the Garrett family? God bless your dad and grandfather. Dr. Brooks Garrett drops his 8 millimeter camera down, and if you've been looking at our social media, you've been seeing the image of that plane coming in toward the kid with the black in the background. That's what's coming toward Dr. Garrett at 332 miles an hour. He finds that the viewfinder has given him a false impression of distance, and I got to meet him one time. And I asked him, I said, "Doc, why did you wait so long?" He said, "You ever look through a viewfinder?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "It's like car mirrors. Objects are closer than they appear, son." It gives him a false impression of distance. He runs for his life. Across the kid, shipmates not manning guns or handling ammunition race for the port side of the ship to avoid the crash and explosion that's going to happen on the starboard side. Now, I took a long time explaining that, but that's just 60 seconds. 60 more seconds have passed, and at 14:10, 2:10 p.m., Yakushi Zero crashes the kid on her starboard side just above the waterline, which means the water is not pouring in, it's splashing in now. He enters the forward fire room, shears the piping from one of the boilers. Steam, 800 degrees Fahrenheit and 650 pounds per square inch of pressure, erupts in a massive decompression, killing 11 men in that compartment instantly. The 500-pound bomb, and this is old information, the 500 kilogram or kiloton? Kilogram. 500 kilogram, I suck at math, remember to speak it. The 500 kilogram bomb carried by the aircraft is catapulted through the compartment's machinery, through the boilers, through the pipes, through the catwalk, and punctures the ship's 3/8 of an inch thick skin, escaping the ship. And approximately 12 yards off the port side exterior, it detonates, and it litters the decks of the port side with shrapnel, killing and wounding many of the men who had just run for cover seconds ago on that side. The concussion from the blast flexes the ship to the point to where the rivets in the superstructure are ejected at high speed, turning them, for all intents and purposes, into bullets. They're projectiles now, and they are hitting the crew. Their own ship is a weapon against them now. A secondary explosion follows within seconds as oxygen and acetylene bottles detonate from the primary explosion. They were used for damage control. That's why they were there. Normally, they would be used to fix any damage that they took from this sort of attack. The bridge, the flying bridge above it, the signal bridge behind it, radio central inside the superstructure, combat information inside the superstructure, and radar also inside the superstructure are all damaged. They're all along the exterior skin of the superstructure, which is paper thin, and all these pieces of shrapnel are penetrating and hitting the men at their stations. They take severe casualties. 60 more seconds. Kidd's commanding officer, Harry G. Moore, is down on the bridge with injuries from shrapnel along his neck, his back, and his leg. Executive officer, Lieutenant Burdick H. Britton, has been wounded in the Combat Information Center with shrapnel wounds along his neck, shoulder, and back. When you look at pictures of CIC, it's like somebody just reached and grabbed the metal and ripped it off of the stanchion that it's bolted. It's gone. It's like a sardine can peeled open. Lieutenant Britton, Lieutenant Britton receives word of the CO's condition. He moves up to the bridge to take command. On the main deck, starboard side, the ship's corpsman finds Dr. Garrett unconscious, thinking him dead. Dr. Garrett is, in fact, alive, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to talk to him in 1995, but he's wounded in his right leg. He also lost his left eye. Down below in the forward fire room where the plane hit, Lieutenant Junior Grade George Gresheiber, the ship's chief engineer, is dead. The forward half of the ship is without power because the steam going through those turbines also goes through generators that generate power for the forward half of the ship. The back half of the ship is powered by another 7 generators from the aft. In the forward engine room, Chief Machinist Mate Charles David Taylor is keeping his men occupied, moving among them in the dark, issuing orders that ultimately results in them transferring steam from the aft fire room to both engine rooms to restore power. And that allows KIDD to resume a speed of 22 knots. Damage control teams begin to isolate and bypass damaged electrical lines. Sailors begin to collect themselves and come to the aid of the wounded. In less than 15 minutes, 38 men have been killed or are dying. 55 have been wounded. That's almost one-third of the crew being incapacitated by this attack. And on the other side of the world, American families still were sleeping soundly. All of them still blissfully ignorant of their loved one's fate. 15 minutes. There's a reason we call it the nightmare off of Okinawa, because none of those boys wanted to. None of those boys had gone through the war and seen anything like that yet. KIDD Squadron was extremely lucky. This was the only major damage any of the 9 ships in Desron 48 ever took, besides a few bumps and scrapes, kind of sideswipes as they passed each other, tied up next to each other. Without a doubt, among all 9 ships, this date in history is something I've never forgotten. The Chauncey, Black, and Lloyd crew members talk regularly about, in their memoirs, about how they felt seeing KIDD hit like this. Their friends are on KIDD, their drinking buddies are on KIDD. Some of them had family members on different ships. This is something that was ingrained upon their memory as long as they lived. As we recite the names of our following shipmates in the next few minutes and toll the bell for each one, I want you to think about one of the names. Latch on to one of the names. Doesn't matter which one. And then when we go downstairs after the ceremony, in the KIDD exhibit room behind this big blue Baton Rouge banner, you will find a big golden frame, rectangular frame, mounted on the wall as you enter the room. And you'll see all 38 crew members' photos. And then I challenge you to go to our YouTube channel, and you'll find 2 hours and 45 minutes? 2 hours and 45 minutes of video that Elijah and I put together a couple of years ago about this attack in detail, almost ad nauseum. Elijah was really trying to get off the web at that point. And we talk about not just the attack in detail, but we talk about the lives of these human beings. Go to the last hour of that video and listen to the stories about these young men, because the information that one of our Cold War crew members gathered really makes them more than a name, more than a face. It makes them living, breathing people again. So that's my challenge to you. I'm an educator. I like to give homework. Elijah, would you join me? All right. These are our fallen crewmen from April 11th, 1945. Addison F. Smith, Chief Quartermaster, Cambridge, Ohio, age 24. Sylvester W. Hansen, Chief Water Tender, Ballsma Lake, Wisconsin, age 24. John Franklin Hamilton, Chief Steward's Mate, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, age 33. Morgan A. Payne, Gunner's Mate, First Class, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, age 20. James C. Carmody, Water Tender, First Class, Springfield, Massachusetts, age 23. Felix P. D'Amico, Water Tender, First Class, Boston, Massachusetts, age 23. William M. Abernathy, Metalsmith, Second Class, Brooklyn, New York, age 34. Jack L. Walsh, Water Tender, Second Class, Elmore, Ohio, age 23. Eugene E. Gothro, Signalman, Second Class, Berlin, New Hampshire, age 21. Richard W. Hyde, Baker, second class, Beverly, Massachusetts, age 19. Solomon Thompson, Stewart mate, second class, McCool, Mississippi, age 20. Charles E. Green, steward's mate, second class, Waverly, Tennessee, age 24. Harold G. Kelsey, seaman, first class, Boston, Massachusetts, age 19. George R. Kreisinger, seaman, first class, Southwest Pennsylvania, age 20. William J. Wall, seaman, first class, San Antonio, Texas, age 18. And as I did this morning on this morning's live stream, I'm going to pause for a moment to acknowledge something. We don't know a lot about William J. Wall. There's almost no biographical information we've ever been able to find about him other than he signed up on X date. He arrived at KIDD on X date. He died on April 11th. One thing we know about him besides that is that he was born on April 11th and he died on his birthday. Happy birthday, William. Lawrence Bynog, seaman first class, Lena Station, Louisiana, age 18. Frederick B. Heaton, fireman second class, Castleberry, Alabama, age 18. Dennis M. Kornowski, fireman second class, Buffalo, New York, age 20. Virgil A. Hinson, seaman second class, Grant Saline, Texas, age 19. Charles K. Jenkins, seaman second class, Baltimore, Maryland, age 17. Bernard V. Castelman, seaman second class, Smock, Pennsylvania, age 18. Arthur Lee, seaman second class, Schenectady, New York, age 35. Russell J. Leonard, seaman second class, Benham, Virginia, age 18. John Miller Jr., seaman second class, Vicksburg, Pennsylvania, age 18. Darvin R. Lee, apprentice seaman, Johnsonville, Tennessee, age 24. Bernard Gutterman, torpedoman, third class, Cleveland, Ohio, age 20. Milford A. Softball, signalman, third class, Troy, Vermont, age 19. James N. Olin, electrician's mate, third class, Greensburg, Pennsylvania, age 20. Charles N. Alwyn, fireman, first class, Newark, Arkansas, age 19. Clifford A. Huff, fireman, first class, Pilot Rock, Oregon, age 19. Clifford E. Camara, fireman, first class, Lehighton, Pennsylvania, age 18. George P. Greshaven, lieutenant, junior grade, Union, New Jersey, age 26. Robert A. Berwick, ensign, Knoxville, Iowa, age 22. Robert F. Walker, fireman, first class, Los Angeles, California, age 18. Dorsey C. Bridgewater, seaman, second class, Lecta, Kentucky, age 18. John W. Kanata, Jr., seaman, first class, Breckenridge, Texas, age 21. Louis C. Higginbotham, seaman, first class, Hayden, Alabama, age 21. Lester B. Hodges, seaman, first class, Andalusia, Alabama, age 19. Now, one last addition. The Japanese pilot, Lieutenant Junior Grade Shigehisa Yaguchi, was identified in 2005. The question arose about including him in this observance, and for many years, the survivors, the loss of their friends was still very fresh to them, as it was in 1945. For many families of those that were lost, it's still fresh to them. A few years ago in 2017, we asked one of our last survivors that was able to travel across the country and visit for this. We asked him what he thought about including Yaguchi into the ceremony. And he admitted, he said, I understand the need to do it, but do it when we're gone, when we can't come back anymore. Well, he passed away before 2018. He liked the fact that one of our former staff members had placed flowers for his shipmates at Okinawa that year. And so per his instructions, he said, you're placing flowers in the river, toll the bell one more time for him when we can't come back. And so following his instructions, we are adding and have been adding Lieutenant Shigehisa Yaguchi, Imperial Japanese Navy, age 23. Mr. Pete Hiddle, would you sound taps, please? We began this observance in 1945, late at night here in Baton Rouge, early afternoon off of Okinawa. 80 years we are. We still have two World War II that we know of around. They're both 101 years old, and one of them just survived the flooding in last fall, North Carolina, in Asheville. So it's hard to take a kid crew member down. Not even a hurricane can do it. To bring things full circle, you see that we included Yaguchi in this ceremony, and we're going to check another box off in just a few minutes. I'm going to ask Mr. Bob to come up and give the benediction. I would like all of you to stick around for a few minutes more and join us downstairs in the lobby. We're going to unveil an exhibit that has been 25 years in the making. Mr. Bob?
Lord of us all, again ask for blessings on our efforts, on those who have been remembered, and bless the United States of America.
Amen. We'll wait for about 3 minutes, Ms. Molly. Does that give you enough time to set up downstairs? Okay. We're going to go ahead and reset downstairs. Please feel free to join us. We've got something we want to show off. You're good. Thank you. I know it was short notice.
Just in case you need to cry or anything, I don't want to catch you on mic. I'm kidding.
I was a blubbering mess in the car.
Okay, I'm gonna just make a quick statement so that way people know what's happening. Hey guys, it's Omar, and we're gonna now move this setup downstairs. There might be a disruption in service, but just hold on tight. We'll be back up in just a few minutes. You might hear some heavy breathing. Oh boy. All right, you ready? What's up? Yeah, he could bring a chair. All right, you got it? It shouldn't be. It's just got it. Okay, and we're moving. I should have done this. There we go. All right. Could have got a longer cord, I guess. Oh goodness. You got it? Here, I can carry the laptop. You got it? Yeah. All right. Yes. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Hey guys, this is what it's like to move a camera when you're live on
At least we don't have to go all the way down.
at least. You guys want to see outside? Look, we can look outside for a second. Ooh, it's bright out there. Lord, I got the light filtered. Yeah, that's okay. I think we got it. You want to come down? You can ride down with us. Yep, hold it. Yep. You're on the internet right now.